Welcome to the first episode of Let's Be Opinionated. My name is Sam Hilder, and today I'm here with Dakota Manee.
What's up?
Today's topic is about, should Americans worry about debt?
They should.
Not.
They should.
Why should they worry about debt?
Because like 80% of the people in the United States have debt. And
Where did you get that statistic from?
I take classes.
Okay, so what class did you get it from?
Dave Ramsey's.
Dave Ramsey states that 89% of Americans have debt.
80%.
80%.
Like 44% have mortgage debt too.
Okay, so I don't think they should worry about that, and here's why. So, if banks and other outlets that allow loans and you to acquire debt are just handing out money because you have good background, but you can die at any time and not have to pay that off, then they're the stupid ones. Because like I could take up my son or daughter's college debt, like take a loan out for them, and I could be like 45, 50, right? And then let's say I die of a car accident. I took out the loan, their college is paid for, so now they're receiving free college. I just died, they don't have to pay for it because the debt doesn't transfer to them. See what I'm saying?
I do. But I feel like people get way too comfortable with that though.
Okay,
like,
so let's say
it's became a common thing. Like it's okay to use a credit card and be in debt. Like when you're in debt, you can't advance first. You can't pay yourself.
Okay, so you're talking about all like the good things to do, like hey, pay yourself first. Get your savings account, your emergency fund. But like people sometimes just use a credit card just to get their credit score up, so they can get like a car.
But when they're in debt, that's stupid.
But
that is so dumb.
They're not spending money they don't have. They're just spending money they haven't received.
If you spend money you physically can't give to the person, like with cash,
you shouldn't be buying it. Is that what you're saying?
No debt is good debt.
No debt is good debt?
There's no such thing as good debt, personally.
What? Okay, this is what I'm saying. So let's say I have a loan. Let's say it's for.
Put you in debt because you have to pay back interest.
Yeah, let's say it's I have a loan for a car. Okay, and I get my car, and technically with the car company it's paid off. I'm actually paying the bank back at this point.
Yes.
So my car loan just turned into bank being in debt with a bank and having to pay interest and all that. So let's say I have my car, I'm paying on my loan, and I'm paying interest or whatever. And I'm giving more money than I should have given for the product I received.
Yes.
So,
well, you don't know that. You don't know the future. You don't know if you're gonna hit another car, or you don't know.
That's why I have insurance.
You don't know if a family member's gonna get sick.
So you're saying I'm gonna need that money that I just spent that I didn't have for something else?
No, but I feel like you should at least have like an emergency fund.
Okay, so let's say I have my emergency fund. I have my emergency fund, and I have my car loan. So I have my emergency fund all set up and done. I have my car loan, and I have my car. So I have my emergency fund. My parents get sick. I have to pay for something. I pay for it.
Yeah.
Now I have no emergency fund, but I still have my car. Where's the problem? I can work up that emergency fund again.
You can, but what if you're paying all your money on your loan?
Well, that's why it's set
up. And then your car breaks down.
But it's set up on a plan, and it's a brand new car. So if your car breaks down within the first 60,000 miles.
Okay, so what if your family gets sick? You have to pay the $500 that you have saved up in your emergency fund, and then let's say you hit a deer, or let's say anything could happen, and your plan that you had just completely goes bust, and you don't have any money saved up.
Okay, so situation I had. I took a quote-unquote loan with my dad to get my car. He lent me $3,000 to get a car. So I said, okay.
So you co-signed the loan?
And, no. My dad has the money.
Oh.
He loans it to me.
Oh, okay.
So my dad is, in this case, the bank. This actually happens. So.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I got the money, and I already had a car at this point, but the car I had was it was a car. It had 4 wheels and it drove, but I wanted a better car.
So you wanted a new car?
I wanted a different car.
You didn't need one, you wanted one.
No, I did. I needed one because the one I had was inefficient with gas, and I was paying too much money to sustain gas.
So did you sell the car?
The paycheck that I was getting was not enough to just get gas and sustain.
So how much did you sell the car for?
I sold the car for $2,600.
$2,600.
And then I bought this car that I'm currently driving, and then I was in debt with my dad for about $700 because I had to pay for this car, and then I had to pay for a new radiator on it because I knew it needed a new radiator when I got it.
So now you owe him $700.
I owe him $700.
Okay.
And that's a debt.
Yeah.
Then I go around and I hit a tree with the car. Put it in the ditch, hit a tree. Had to put more money into it. All right.
So let's say what you're $1,200 in debt.
After this, so I was $700, got in the crash, had to fix it.
Say it was $500.
And now I think I was $1,300 in debt.
Okay.
$1,300 in debt, and I should have been like $400. So $1,300 in debt.
Or $700.
I didn't worry about it.
Okay.
This is why. So I ended up the company that I had insurance with said that the car should have been totaled. Okay, but instead of them totaling, I asked if I could get the car back, and they said, sure, you can buy the car back from us. We're either going to give you the $3,000 for the...
This happened in real life.
Yes.
I know, I figured.
So they were like, we're either going to give you $3,000 in compensation of the car, or no, they said we'll give you $2,800 in compensation of the car, or you buy it back and we only give you $2,500. Because they said the car was worth only $200 after I crashed it. Which was totally false, because the car still started. Anyways,
which is
I buy the car back and the $2,500. I end up paying the $2,500 back to my dad, but now I'm left with no debt and a broken car. So then I fixed the car up, which took not a whole lot. It really only needed a new headlight, a fender, and I believe...
Well, and you hit a tree.
Yeah. Well, I needed to replace the lights pretty much.
Yeah.
The lights and the fenders. So there was nothing...
And the rear.
I never replaced it. It wasn't needed.
Oh.
So basically, my debt settled at like $400 where I should have started. And I still haven't made it off. I'm not worried about it.
Well, that's with your parent.
I wouldn't be worried about it with the bank. Because it's like anything. It's like a bill. It's like electricity or whatever, you know? This cop is totally going to pull me over. It's like anything. Yep, he's pulling me over. Or maybe he's not. Psych! Just keep driving. Alright, let's just keep going.
Alright.
We're good. We're safe. Alright. So, why should I worry about that debt? Let's put that in the status of he's a bank.
Let's say it's with your dad, though.
Okay.
Right, it's with your dad. Your dad will probably, like, give you time to pay back, right? Is he giving you time?
Yeah, as does the bank.
Yeah.
Certain period.
But what I'm saying is, how are you going to be able, like your car worked, right? You have the lights fixed.
Right.
Everything's fine. You should be paying off that debt right away. Now that everything's fine, you don't have to really pay for anything. You're still in high school. You don't freaking have rent. You don't...
To an extent.
To an extent? What do you mean?
Like, there's still things that I have to do on a weekly, monthly basis
Okay.
to keep my residency in my own house.
So then you budget that for whatever you have. And then whatever you have saved over, I would immediately pay off your debt as soon as you can, so you don't have to worry about it.
So a bank gives you a monthly payment to pay off your debt. So he did the same thing. I have a time period.
So
I have to pay off my debt by September of 2018.
But that debt doesn't have interest, though, because it's with your father.
It does have interest. He is putting interest on my debt. He's doing it like a bank.
So that's what I'm saying. You should be paying it off right away. As quick as you can, right away.
I'm doing that, though. So, but why... go back to the question, why should I worry about...
Why should you worry about it? Because eventually you're going to be paying more than you did in the first place, because it's going to be taking longer.
Yeah.
That's why you never want to be in debt. That's why you always want to pay stuff with cash and make sure you have enough money left over for emergencies, so you never have to pay more than you need to.
Let's put it this way. Let's say debt is inevitable. You have to go in debt. Let's just say that. It's an emergency. You have to go in debt.
Okay.
So let's say the emergency...
It's not like everyone has to go in debt. It's just your situation. You have to go in debt.
Okay, let's put it that way. Your situation, you have to go in debt. You get...
Okay.
Let's put it in the worst case scenario. Let's say you get cancer.
Okay.
You have to go in debt. Should you worry about your debt? You got cancer. You're going through chemotherapy. you're going through the worst possible case scenario.
At the time, probably not.
Or you have to worry about that debt.
Eventually, you will, and you probably should the whole time.
You're saying you're going to stress yourself out worrying about this debt during your struggle time of cancer.
No, you don't have to stress yourself out about it, but you got to be aware. You have to at least be aware of what's going on.
So I'm thinking, if I have cancer and I'm in debt, I'm paying for chemotherapy, what I'm going to do is I'm going to evaluate my cancer. Am I going to live? Am I going to beat this cancer? If not, I'm going to just do my chemotherapy and I'm going to go spend vacations until my body's weak.
Obviously. But you didn't mention that you were going to die.
Okay, so let's evaluate it. Let's say you're going to live. Let's say you're in remission, you're going to live.
Yeah, you're going to live.
So you're supposed to worry about it.
You should be aware, yes.
Let's say your debt is so extreme, you won't pay it off until you're 88.
Bankrupt. Go bankrupt.
You're saying go bankrupt, go that route.
You have to. Some people have to. A lot of people do.
Okay, so you're saying go bankrupt, get it paid off that way?
I mean,
How does bankruptcy work? Do you just, when you go file bankruptcy, everything's paid off? You don't have to pay any more money?
Not really.
How's that work?
But, I mean, like, for example, you know Mr. Easter?
Okay.
He said that he just talked to a student that graduated 2 years ago. Was like $300,000 like behind, had to go bankrupt.
File bankruptcy.
Because she couldn't even get a job, so she had to.
File bankruptcy, what's that do for you?
It helps you at least maintain a job. That's what he said.
He said...
Because you can't... Cause when you're
so what happens
your
to all that
won't
money?
let you get a job or a house or anything.
So what'll happen to all that debt?
I'm not 100% sure about that.
So... I do know... Okay,
well, I mean,
so there's a local
bankrupt,
restaurant that filed bankruptcy.
Yeah.
And the bank took everything it had, and they pretty much went homeless.
Yeah.
So, in my eyes, I feel like bankruptcy gets rid of your debt.
Yeah, but like you have to end up selling your car.
Yeah, you sell your car, you sell your house, you sell your life assets, and you're left with nothing.
Yeah, but if you're that...
And you're basically set back to a high school senior whose parents just kicked them out of their house.
Yeah. But because since you're in debt, you're so far behind, it's near impossible to get a car or get a job.
So in every situation we can put out there, you're going to say yes, you have to worry about debt.
Yeah. There's no such thing as good debt.
In my eyes, any situation you go into, there's no reason to worry about it.
You should be aware. I'm not saying you should stress over it.
I'm not saying stress, just the word worry. Worry about it.
You don't have to worry about it.
You're saying no, you don't have to worry about it.
As in stressing out, no.
You're saying you have to worry about it as in the awareness.
But you need to be aware, and you need to have a game plan of what you're doing.
So you are saying worry about it, but you said you need to have the right precautions towards it.
Yeah, but I wouldn't do anything to put yourself in debt right away, or purposely put yourself in debt. And you should be smart enough to make sure you don't go in debt.
I'm saying you have debt. There's really no need to worry as an American because of all the laws that protects each business and each participant that's involved with the debt. There are laws and everything in place to protect each party.
Yeah. But look at it from every other standpoint. We can throw in any type of variable into this though. Like
you're right.
Like you can go into debt because you want to live like other people, or live on a basis of saying like, oh, I want a new car, but you can't afford it. You're living like...
You could go in debt because you want to live a rich lifestyle,
a life you can't really afford.
You're right.
I mean, you can go on any basis and say, do this, and it's going to go in debt. Like, you should be smarter than that.
So on a form of a common home-to-home basis, you're saying no debt is good debt, no debt is good.
It's not smart.
Any debt is not good.
Not really. I'm saying, like...
I'm saying in this society, debt is the way of life.
It is, which it shouldn't be.
It shouldn't. But, like, we've adapted that, so...
Which is dumb. That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh, it is dumb.
It is.
I can agree with you. That is definitely something I can say, yeah, I agree with.
Yes.
But also, at the same time, I'm not going to worry about getting in debt. As us two individuals, we will never have to be in debt. Because we have our futures lined up with each prospective military branch outlet that we've seen and that we've taken. So we have VA loans and stuff if we need it, but that's not outlets we're forced to take.
Yeah.
So we know how to live like the smart life and how to not be in debt. But I'm just saying, like, from an American perspective, no, you shouldn't have to worry about debt because of all the outlets and protections that each party has.
Yeah, but it's just stupid. Like, you don't have to make your life harder. Like, for example, you want to live like no one else at the first part of your life, so later on you can live like no one else. You can buy a crappy car that's workable. 8 years later, buy a new car. You know, slowly keep building up and saving. Like, you don't need things.
Okay, so let's turn this...
That people usually buy.
So let's twist the question a little bit. Do you think investors are... not, I wouldn't want to say addicted to debt, but used to debt? Are investors used to debt? Because, you know, to invest, you have to get a loan out to invest it, you know?
I mean, not usually. People invest in...
If you invest early, you do.
People invest in just mutual funds. Like, you can put 20 grand in the bank, and then 15 years later, it can come out as $300,000. You're not in debt at all. And you can take out that money whenever
Where
you
did
want.
that 20 grand come from? Where did you acquire that 20 grand?
For example, me, let's just say, my dad died, you know. He had a car. I sold this car because my car's working. I got 20 grand for the car. I put in a mutual fund. 20 years later, I have a...
You got $20,000 for a used car.
Yeah, let's just say, yeah.
In what society is that happening?
You could have had a nice car.
Because people these days, like in our state of Michigan, are selling Nissan,
True. But,
Nissan Zs for like 10 grand.
But that's just a random topic I just talked about.
Okay, so let's just say
Like,
you
for
acquire...
example, a signing bonus for the military. You get
only 0.48% of our U.S. population wear a uniform. How many of those get bonuses? Probably 0.2. So even less than 0.5% are wearing the uniform, and even less than half of the 0.5% are getting bonuses.
True. But I'm talking about the people who do, though. The people who do have that money with them.
So let's just say you have the money. Doesn't matter how you acquired it.
But it doesn't even have to be 20 grand. You can get a car and sell it for 7 grand and put
You
7
acquire
grand.
any amount of money. Okay, you invest it. You're saying.
Yes.
Okay.
You don't have to go in debt because you can just.
Isn't that
money.
still technically a piece of debt because you're losing your own money and you're not guaranteed to get it back?
Well, in bonds.
In bonds, if you get the bonds,
high risk bonds. There's some that are.
But the outcome of those bonds are sometimes so little.
Yeah, but that's if you do a high risk bond. There's multiple bonds that are low risk that guarantee your money back. But
Your money back.
But you get low interest.
But in what form of growth?
It depends on the interest rate because they borrow your money, and the longer that they can borrow your money, they add more money to you.
So you don't think investing is a form of becoming in debt? Because I do. I think investing is a form of becoming in debt.
It does, but there are
for
ways.
at least a period of time. And let's say you invest this money and then something happens to you and you can't. The liquidity of that money is projected 2.5 years out, and you're gonna be able to touch that money you need today.
Well, that's why you put money in that you can afford to put in there.
So let's say you're a struggling family and you have no money to
invest
afford.
like that.
So then a struggling family can't invest and they're still in debt.
But what if they're not in debt and they can't invest? Are they just going to be like, all right, let's go in debt and then invest and hopefully get our money back? People just don't think like that.
Well, I wouldn't think like that either. If I was struggling like that and I'm in debt so much, I would just honestly not worry about it whatsoever and live a normal life, because they're going to spend their next 5 to 15 years worrying about debt that's not going to be paid off for another 10 years past that, just because they're struggling. And they should just reset from the bottom, you know? I mean, reevaluate their standpoint.
It also depends on the person, though, and the amount of debt. Because what if you have a decent amount of debt to little? What you just mentioned was a high amount of debt. Not a lot of people are like completely in debt. Like, there's a lot of people who like just get by with just a little bit of debt.
Okay. But why are they getting by with a little bit of debt? Why doesn't that debt go away?
Well, because people use credit cards.
Because
people think it's okay and acceptable to use credit cards.
It's a want more society?
No. As I said, like, it's accepted to use credit cards. Credit cards put you in debt. It's not a win-win situation. It's the bank wins, you lose.
So you're saying we always lose, no matter what, for debt?
Well, I mean, if you use cash, pay things with cash, you'll be fine. Debit cards, fine. I'm not a big fan of credit cards.
Okay, so you don't have to be a fan of credit cards, but let's just say you're not a fan of debt at all. You're just disagreeing with that.
I'm not a big fan of debt at all, and that's my personal opinion.
Okay, so short answer, yes, you should worry about debt.
Because, basically, It depends on the person. What if I want to, have a Lamborghini, just for example. I
Okay.
want to get out of debt as quick as I can.
High aspirations.
Quick as I can, be as smart as I can, so I'm not in debt, and then I slowly start advancing my income. I slowly start getting smarter with my budgeting, and eventually I can invest and keep investing, and eventually I can live like no one else.
So, give me a short answer on should Americans have to worry about debt? Short answer.
Should they worry about debt? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, short answer.
They should,
They should.
but that's just my personal opinion.
And my short answer for should Americans have to worry about debt is no.
Right?
See,
There's two different opinions.
Two different opinions, and that got nowhere.
Two completely different opinions. I got nowhere.
All right, well, I don't know when the next episode is going to be uploaded, but episode
Probably
1.
Thursday.
Episode 1. All right, Thursday?
Thursday.
All right, expect another episode Thursday. Bet.
Found it.
Peace.